Previously on Vintage G Overland, we removed the engine and transmission out of our 300 GD in order to get prepared for another engine swap. Hi, we are Adam
and Gloria.
And together, we purchased a 1985 Mercedes 300 GD for the sole purpose of traveling around the world.
Got it running. Turned on, just got
it. We'd like to invite you to follow us along as we build, travel, and explore this wonderful world we live in. This is Vintage G Overland. Now our block is back from the testing process and we immediately get to repainting it after the old paint was hot tanked off. I ended up doing a light hone on the cylinder walls. There was just a little bit of rust right at the very top just from sitting, but other than that, they were in pretty decent shape. Now, these are the original bearings that were in at 160,000 miles, and they honestly don't look too bad. I, of course, replaced them so that we don't have to worry about any catastrophic failures in the future. Now, I'm lucky enough to have a vapor blast cabinet at my house. I actually had this for quite a while, but it helps me clean up aluminum parts, the cylinder heads, the other aluminum extra parts that are on the outside of the engine. If I want a nice finish, I can use that. This was actually my first attempt at wrapping the top plastic cover, and after some careful deliberation, I think I'm actually going to make this out of carbon fiber. So why choose the 606? Well, with all the engine options that are available out there, you'd think that an engine like this that was built just for a few short years in the 90s probably wouldn't be a very good contender. However, there's a few key differences that set this engine apart from the rest of the pack. Let me show you what I'm talking about. In 1973, Mercedes introduced the OM616, a four-cylinder inline diesel engine that produced about 71 horsepower and 101 foot-pounds of torque. Now, it was a very successful engine that was in many vehicles. However, due to raising standards of speed, Mercedes needed an option, and instead of pouring all their money into R&D, they literally added an extra cylinder onto the back of the proven design. Thus, the OM617 was born. Putting out a healthy 227 horsepower and 184 foot-pounds of torque, it's no wonder this was the go-to engine from 1974 all the way to 1991. However, the design was tired and they needed a revamp. Due to the ever-growing need for speed and relevancy in the market, Mercedes decided to finally retire the 617 in 1991. Shortly after, the 602 and 603 variants came about, going from 5 to 6 cylinders, now with a single overhead cam in the 603. In 1993, the OM606 Turbo was introduced to the public. This was an inline-six 3-liter diesel engine that revved out to 6,000 RPM and produced around 173 horsepower. I know this doesn't sound like a lot, and nothing really to write home about here. However, Mercedes overbuilt the ever-living heck out of this engine. With stock internals and just a few bolt-ons, you can safely get to around 500 horsepower with absolutely no effort at all. Another huge benefit to this engine is that you can actually ditch the old electronic pump and go with a mechanical pump, which allows you to up the horsepower and still maintain about 30 miles a gallon. Once complete, this engine will weigh 463 pounds dry. Now, with the configuration I'm going with, I'm going to stick for a lower horsepower range at around 300 to 400 horsepower, and that should give me just enough juice to travel around the world. Well guys, That's about it for this episode. Follow me next time as we get a little deeper into the engine build process and I show you exactly what I'm doing here. And if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching.